Daily Minnesota sports entertainment. Awesome. And boys, before we get to random season recall here, where Declan throws a random sports season from Minnesota past at us, we love rankings. We really like. There aren't many things we love more than rankings on this show. And our friends at ESPN.com have something called the NFL Football Power Index.
God, I love that term.
Power. Football.
Power.
So much power.
Index.
Yes.
Low reverb.
And so they have projections based on their Football Power Index. It's essentially their analytical way of ranking all the teams in the league. Let's see where the Vikings fall here. All right. They've got the Kansas City Chiefs projected to be 11.5 wins. So 11-6 or 12-5. They got the Buccaneers 11-6. Buffalo Bills round up to 11-6. They got the Minnesota Vikings almost exactly mid-pack, 8.5 wins as they simulate the season through their Football Power Index. The Vikings are 46% to make the playoffs, 28% to win the division. They are 5% to make the Super Bowl and 2% to win the Super Bowl. So if you go just off that 2%, there's about 15 teams with better odds than the Vikings to win the Super Bowl this season, including the Cowboys, the Colts, the Titans, the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, and then all the regular teams you would expect: Browns, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Bills, Ravens, even the Niners, Rams, Packers, etc. So your guys' thoughts on mid-pack FPI ranking for the Vikings, and do the Vikings win the Super Bowl 2 times out of 100 if they run this season?
So the national expectations, both in the FPI rankings and elsewhere, are far lower than mine. Like it appears the national media and pundits are very much on the 8 games or so, 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to stop there. I can't. I won't. Like, you're in the midst of a rebuilt defense, an offense skill position-wise that has tremendous talent, a quarterback who's supposed to be damn good. The only thing that I can't gauge now is do key guys miss time because of A, injury, or B, COVID? But it appears the FPI is very much in line with what people are thinking nationally. I think if these Vikings only win the Super Bowl 2 times out of 100, people get fired. So if you win,
really? Well, if they win a Super Bowl, I see what you're saying. You're saying
no, but I'm saying if the odds overall, I should say, to restate it, if the odds overall are where the FPI puts them, I think people get fired. If they win 8 games or 9 games, I do not think people's jobs are secured at all. I think this team should be more along the lines of minimum 10 wins in a 17-game season, as many as 11 or 12 wins. So I will say this, because nationally, lots of times those predictions are correct. If this is correct, I think that there is a new head coach of the Vikings when training camp starts for 2022.
By the way, I'm just looking at different sports books and websites. So Vegas Insider has the Vikings at 9 wins. So again, right in the middle of the pack, 9-8,
17 games though, like that's not that great.
Yeah. So what are the main reasons why? So I think even with the tumultuous training camp so far, in which 3 of your quarterbacks are out for a week, Kirk was out, Justin Jefferson hurt his shoulder,
right?
Darisaw hasn't really practiced. Oli Udoh looks like the leading candidate, very inexperienced at right guard. So, like, there's all these sort of rickety things happening, and I think everyone's kind of crossing their fingers and hoping that by the time you move the train to week 1, that some of these things will be resolved, and at least you'll have quarterback, wide receiver, like those guys back in the mix. I think the main reason why there's such a gap between where we perceive locally, media, just by and large, media and fans, we think of this team more like, I think, 11 wins in terms of like over-under, like 10.5,
Correct.
11, and
Agreed.
Can do something great defensively. And these national pundits and analytics websites in Vegas are saying, nah, guys, you got to pump the brakes. That should raise a red flag, for one, because usually Vegas and these objective measurement entities, put it this way, Vegas isn't building new billion-dollar casino structures on every block every year because they're wrong about this stuff, right? So it raises a red flag, but I think what's happening in the Twin Cities is we're looking at Dalvin Tomlinson and Michael Pierce and Patrick Peterson and Brashad Breeland, and we're looking at all these guys and envisioning their best case performance. Daniil Hunter's back. He's going to be the best again. Eric Kendricks is going to be healthy all season. Cam Dancer is going to be amazing, right? Like we're envisioning the best possible, just like we did out of the draft. Christian Darrisaw is going to come in and he's going to be a hit. Right. Well, he hasn't practiced yet. So, like, it's very rare that everything clicks. And so if everything doesn't click, what bails you out? Kansas City, if everything doesn't click, they've got Pat Mahomes.
Yes, and this is the national perception. Right or wrong, this is it.
Tampa Bay, if everything doesn't click, they still have Tom Brady and weapons.
Correct.
In Baltimore, Lamar Jackson can bail you out, and Josh Allen in Buffalo. It's like Vegas and, in this case, football power index.
Football
is telling you if things don't go perfectly across the board, we don't think Kirk Cousins can be the difference. That's what this is saying.
Mm-hmm. And they know that Kirk has not shown, despite his stats, he has never shown that he can overcome true adversity to lead a team. Basically, the pundits feel the same way nationally about Kirk that we do. And and I think that's where we take a hard turn away from the Kirk stands, because the Kirk stands are like, well, just look at the stats, though. You don't look at the stats. Well, yeah, actually, you do. And then you dissect them and look and say, okay, but what has he done to take a team that is in trouble and say, screw it, we're going to win? I mean, that's the key thing. And he hasn't, and that's why they're like, you know what? If Pat P is not the same player that he was 3 years ago with the Cardinals, which he might not be, can Kirk overcome that? Mm-hmm. And it might not be fair to Kirk, but that's the question. And the answer right now, until proven otherwise, is no.
Like, legitimate question for you guys. All right. When you look at, and I get that we aren't parsing apart these rosters every day like we are the Vikings, but based on the additions the Vikings made and based on the way that fans and media feel locally about the additions the Vikings made, take away quarterback and just compare rosters. Do you feel like the Vikings have an inferior overall roster to Baltimore, Buffalo, the Rams, even the Packers? Like the Packers lost their starting center to the Chargers?
Yeah, no, I don't. That's too strong a word. I do not.
Like, you wouldn't look at that and say, oh, man, the Ravens have a much better roster than the Vikings. The Bills have a much better roster. You'd say the Vikings roster, they've got some of the best skill position players. The names on paper on defense, pretty damn amazing. Like Pro Bowlers just all up and down. Offensive line, still questionable, which is amazing after all these years. But so then if we think, all right, the rosters are pretty comparable, and you might even say the Vikings have a better roster than a couple of these teams, right? Then why does Vegas have, and football power index, have the Ravens, the Bills, the Rams, the Packers 2 wins better than the Vikings?
Yeah, it's because of one position. And look at what the Packers were projected at before our guy showed up. Before Aaron Rodgers showed up, they were projected to be what? 8 wins, 7 wins, 6 wins? I don't know.
Declan
but yeah,
had him at 3.
Declan did have him at 3. But the quarterback swings the perception for a reason.
You might also throw coaching in here. Like, who would I rather have? Those teams I just mentioned, John Harbaugh or Mike Zimmer. Give me John Harbaugh 10 times out of 10. I think John Harbaugh is one of the great CEOs. Now, the Ravens, I think if you look at the Ravens' record against winning teams, it's actually not that. Like, they tend to beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
Sure.
And they come up short. There's a little bit of Vikings-itis there. You know, Rams, would you rather have Sean McVay or Mike Zimmer? I mean, the shine wore off a little on McVay, but, like, I'll still take McVay, right?
Yeah.
49ers even. The 49ers are 10.5. Not because they have, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but because I think their roster is really good and people love Kyle Shanahan as a coach. So, very interesting.
What do you guys think Zim needs to get to wins-wise to secure that he's back for sure next season?
I think it's about playoff wins. I think he needs to win a playoff. I think he needs to win a playoff game. Whether he wins 9 or 14 in the regular season, I think if they don't win a playoff game, I think it's really easy for the Wolves to say, and Spielman, hey, thank you so much. And I don't think it has to be this big. Like, if Mike Zimmer gets fired, I hope people don't crap on him too much because he's been a really good, rock solid coach for this organization. And but I do think it's fair to say, hey man, this franchise has done everything in 60 years except they've had Super Bowl appearances, they've had miracle plays, they've had record-setting offenses, they've had the best defense in the NFL multiple times throughout the history. It's time to do the last thing on the checklist, which is win a Super Bowl. And Mike, we're sorry, man. Like, we're good with you, but if we can't win a playoff game 7 or 8 years into this thing with the moves that you wanted to make in the offseason to fix the defense, I think it's fair to make a swap at head coach.
I think if they sneak in as a wild card and lose the first round playoff game, you're probably right. And I think if that's the case, I think Mike is probably gone, and I think that they will find a way to get rid of Kirk too. I think this whole thing with Kirk currently is the final straw of, okay, if you don't have, forget statistical success, if you don't have team success, we're going to blow the quarterback and coach out.
Yep, because it might also mean it might not be. This is where like the Kirk stands get so defensive. Well, how is it his fault? It's not about fault. People are focused on fault. It's not his fault that they couldn't beat X team, or it's not his fault that the defense was this. It's no one's saying fault. It's at that price, that cap number, can you overcome the faults around you more often to win more games? And if you can't, then you either can't make that much money or you just flat out can't be the quarterback of the team.
And by the way, now, especially since the high draft picks on the offensive line aren't gelling or practicing, or if they are in the case of Wyatt Davis, they're with the third team. Now you're going to see exactly what Kirk's contract did to you. This is so Darisaw and Davis, if they could have started, and let's say they're passable, it's like, you know what, it worked out. High draft picks, awesome. But both of those guys almost certainly are not going to start September 12th against the Bengals. Rashad Hill is going to start, and you can give him a chance, but either Oli Udoh is going to start, your guy, or Dakota Dozier is going to start. And that's where, so for all the folks that said, look, they still signed Patrick Peterson and brought Mackenzie Alexander back, and look at what they brought back. So you guys who said it's Kirk's fault because of his contract, you need to shut up. You're going to see an offensive line that is 1,000% less than ideal. Rashad Hill, great guy, good veteran, has no business starting at left tackle in this league.
Who's got 2 thumbs and an experimental high upside question mark at right guard? This guy right here. That's right.
Drew Samia too.
Get nasty.
Anyway, yeah, so we're about to find out.
All right, so that blast of football power index Vikings discussion presented by our friends at Burnsville Heating and Air, because you know what? If Mike Zimmer finds himself unemployed at the end of the season, he's got options. Burnsville Heating and Air is hiring all different levels of experience, full-time jobs, year-round work, lots of overtime opportunities. If you're just looking to do some extra work after hours, get some extra money, and you can apply. You can apply for. And by the way, just to clarify, even if you have no experience whatsoever, you are Mike Zimmer and you've been a football coach your whole life.
So I could apply. Judd Zolgad could apply.
They might draw the line at you. They might draw the line at you.
You suck.
They'll hire apprentices, leads, finishers, equipment setters, and they'll train you on the job, and they'll find a job site within 10 to 20 minutes of your home, so you don't have to drive to Burnsville if you don't live near Burnsville. BurnsvilleHeating.com. Click careers. BurnsvilleHeating.com and click careers. All right, Declan, it's time for Random Season Recall, where Declan quizzes us on Minnesota sports seasons of yesteryear, I guess.
The
We're pretty good.
1999
We're pretty good here. Pretty good.
Oh,
Minnesota Twins.
boy.
Wow, dude.
We're going
And you know
back
what's
to
funny?
90s.
I woke up this morning and I
Awful
thought,
team.
I feel like it's been a while since Declan's thrown a 90s Twins team at us. And wow, you went into
Okay.
obscurity for this one.
I did.
This is a bad Twins team.
Yeah, this is the first 90s team actually we've done since we brought back Random Season Recall for the last few months here. So, yeah, our first 90s team. We'll start with this one. And by the way, in this caveat
By
here,
the way.
I always ask for win totals, and I'm going to give you that question. But the 1999 Twins actually had a tie game that was on their record.
Okay.
They had a tie game that happened. So take that into consideration.
No shootout?
Yeah, no shootout, no runner at second base, no integrity of the game, no bar stool. How many wins did the 1999 Minnesota Twins finish with?
Well, not very many.
Not very
So,
many.
you know,
So
they it was in the 90s. They did not lose 100 games in that era, but they lost 90 plus almost every year. So we're working in a range of like 94. I want to say like
Wait,
I feel
win?
like 96.
Okay, so you're saying
I'm saying losses. I'm saying they
Yep,
lost.
yep,
They
yep.
lost like 94-ish games in 1999. So like it's in that ballpark. So if I don't know, I keep gravitating toward 94, and I tend to trust our instincts with these things.
so
But
you're
if
saying
it-
90. So you're saying 94.
So their record would have been if with no ties, it would have been 68 and 94. With a tie, it means it was 60. It would have been 67, 94, and 1, something like that.
I'm going to put
I
you
don't know,
within
man.
3.
Okay,
Three
and I
wins,
was going
by
to
the
say
way.
off the top of my head 70 wins. So we're right in the same ballpark, Phil.
Okay. And where are we going? We're going for the number of wins here. That's what we're going for,
Yep.
Declan?
Wins, right.
And I will give
So
you a
I'm
3.
saying
but we've got a cushion.
I'm saying
Three-win window.
67 to
That's
68.
fine,
You're
then.
saying 70.
70. So yeah.
Okay.
So that's absolutely fine.
So let's just because there's no way that it was. I think 70 would could screw us if they lost more. So I think 68 puts us in a sweet spot where if we're underestimating how bad they were. So let's
Perfect.
go 68. What? Okay, what was it?
63. 63, 97, and 1. They were worse than you guys were projecting. 70
60.
wins, Judd. That's
Well,
would
70
be
and
like-
90, 70 and 91 or whatever.
Yeah.
so 63, 97, and 1 was their final record.
Pretty bad. I mean, we're sniffing around there.
You were.
That's pretty
Yeah.
close.
You're
Pretty
close.
I feel pretty
You're
good.
close.
Our
Okay.
swing's pretty honed here.
Yeah, nice little can of corn
Are
to
we
the right
tracking
field.
pitches,
Yeah.
Phil?
Yeah.
Right now, are we tracking?
Yeah, I saw the laces on that fastball. Throw it again.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Good eyesight.
Who led the 1999 Minnesota Twins in OPS?
Oh my god, dude. This is
Okay,
this is
so
a bad
so
score.
the
This
All
team
Star on this team was Ron Coomer because that was the All Star game at Fenway Park.
Okay, that was one of my questions, so I will give that to you.
Wow, dude.
How
You
about
just
that?
pulled that out, so I'll just give that to you right
By the way,
I
what
remember
we
it
think
well.
about this?
I'll delete that one.
Speaking of the Twins, real quick here, I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys know this, but the 1991 Twins reunion happening at Target Field this weekend, and tickets are available. Twinsbaseball.com/tickets if you want to relive this year's team. A little rough around the edges. If you want to relive the greatest season, well, one of the two greatest seasons.
Yeah,
in
I was going to
Twins
say that.
history.
Yeah, don't sell them short in '87.
The 1991
Yep.
Twins reunion, and tickets are available. I believe Saturday is the big
It is
celebration day. So
Celebration.
check them out. Twinsbaseball.com/tickets.
If I'm not mistaken, too, I think on Friday night we are going to welcome the Boomstick back to town.
Yep. So this is a big
Yep.
weekend.
So he's going to get a
Big
tribute.
weekend.
So
Can
like
we
it's
put him in
not
the
just going to
Twins
be
Hall
an
of Fame this weekend?
arbitrary.
Let's put him in the Twins Hall, greatest hitter in Twins history.
You
Let's-
would.
Let's do it right
You'll
now.
fly back here and
Statue.
enshrine him
Statue.
while active.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What about Harmon Killebrew? Yeah. Well, good hitter. Nelson Cruz, 1,000 points higher on the Twins OPS. All right. Don't
Yeah.
come at me.
Oh, I will.
So Coomer,
Rod Crew. Yeah.
Pierzynski was on that team. I'm trying to think if
It's
Koski was on that
Premankevich.
team.
Is this Premankevich?
These guys all got like at least cups of coffee on this
Cory
team.
Hunter got sent down, I want to say, in like May of this year. He got off to he was awful, and I was at the Dome one Sunday, and I think they sent him down right after the game.
Molitor was not on the team anymore.
Steinbach
Trying to think
gone?
of like the veterans. Steinbach? He was
But, I mean,
like
I'm not-
96, 97.
So who would have
99 this would have been like Matt Wahlbeck territory, right? Or like Marcus Jensen, like these random.
Oh, I think Marcus Jensen. I think you might be honest. I think Matt Wahlbeck was gone by then.
They had Danny Ardois was I think one of the catchers.
It all just creeps together.
Oh. Did David Ortiz David Ortiz played in 99?
I have
David
no
Ortiz
idea for this.
All right, I'm going to say David Ortiz.
I'll let you guess.
No. David Ortiz did play in a few games, but did not qualify for the OPS title.
Was Paul gone by now? Did Paul retire after? I thought
think
Paul
so.
played 97.
96.
It might have been 96, 97,
98.
98. Yeah. I think you're right. Who else was on that team even?
10 games for David Ortiz that year. He didn't get a single hit. 20 at-bats, not a single hit.
Okay, so some of these guys. Oh, you know what? Jock Jones. I think Jock Jones was up and at him around this time.
Because I was going to say, okay,
Jack Jones?
Jack Jones. Hey, was Pat Mears on this team? When did he get DFA'd and picked up by Pittsburgh? I thought he got DFA'd
It was like
at some
98,
weird
99.
time.
Yeah, somewhere.
Jack
in there.
Jones was third on this team in OPS.
Okay.
He had a nice season.
Who else was?
Koski and Pierzynski were pretty good, and I don't remember if they. This is tough, man.
I don't remember how much. So I think Koski. Didn't Koski play a lot on this team?
Dude, this is hard. Minkiewicz didn't break out until 01.
Right. I thought didn't Koski predate those guys?
Was
So
there
like
another,
it was the
thumper?
Brzezinski, Minkiewicz, Hunter, that crew.
Yeah.
Was Koski? Did he predate them? Had he?
Well,
come
we have one.
along before?
We have one guest left here. Should we just go
No, I know.
Koski? Let's go Koski.
All right, Koski.
Corey Koski?
Yep.
Corey Koski.
Yeah.
I thought he. Now, how many games did he play that season?
117.
So he did predate them. He did come up before them.
Yep.
Nice.
117, 855 OPS, /310, 387,
He's
468.
a good player.
He's a good hitter.
player.
Yeah, it was real good. Improved
good
at third
player.
base a lot too because of Gardy.
All right. Nice job.
All right. 3 starting pitchers made over 30 starts that year. Who were they?
Radke's one of them.
Radke. Eric Milton. This is peak Eric Milton time, right?
That an official guess?
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it. Yeah, because the no hitter was in.
The no hitter was 99.
Yeah.
Official guess? Eric
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
September 11th. I was at
99.
that game. September 11th, 1999.
Oh boy, that's
One
right. 30 or more starts.
Yep. Just one more.
Okay, so Radke, Milton.
Pre-Loesch. This is Joe Mays was making some starts at some point.
Ooh, that's a good one, Phil.
He was not very good until 2001.
Okay, hold on a second. Were there any? Was a LaTroy starting at the time? I don't think he got to 30 starts, but he was a starter when he began,
was.
and then got moved to the bullpen.
You know who was the other guy?
I like your Mays.
Who was the
beginning.
shortstop? They drafted the Red Sox drafted him as a shortstop, and the Twins. He was a pitcher for the Twins.
Oh, Rodriguez. Was it Frankie Rodriguez?
Frankie Rodriguez.
Who gave up the mammoth home run to McGuire with the A's at some point in time. It went halfway up the left field deck. Frankie Rodriguez. Ooh, that's interesting.
We get some
Yeah.
wrong guesses here. Let's go Joe Mays. Let's guess Joe Mays.
Okay.
20 starts for Joe Mays, 49 games, but not 30.
So
So he's a swing man.
Rodriguez came from Boston in the, I want to say, Aguilera trade. But I don't know if...
God, they just ran some guys out there with no other options that just got pelted.
Were there any old veteran arms?
Terry Mulholland at some point,
Right.
but I feel like he was with the Cubs in 1999. They had Terry
The Twins also
Mulholland.
had Tewksbury at some point. Do you remember that?
That was like 95, 96.
Okay, that's what this is
little
where it all
earlier.
runs together. It's all the beers I've had through the years.
99. Was it
So
they had guys like Dan Nolte and Serafini, Matt
I don't think those-
Kinney.
Guys ever made that many starts, though? Do you?
So Radke, Milton, Mays. Gordata was a starter in here somewhere. Gordata was a starter.
Yeah, but was he?
Hawkins was a starter. LaTroy, they ran Hawkins out there a lot.
Yeah.
Let's guess
did they-
LaTroy Hawkins.
Troy Hawkins?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, Judd Zulgad coming in clutch.
Off the record, any guess what LaTroy Hawkins' ERA was that season in those 33 starts?
Definitely over 6.
Yeah,
Definitely over 6.
659.
666. Devil.
Son of a beast.
666.
Beelzebub.
Oof.
That's impressive that we got that though.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty
a good one. We're on fire.
All right, 4 players hit double-digit home runs that season. You guys did name
Koski's one of them.
2 of them.
So
Who are the
Koski
other
Coomer.
2?
Koski Coomer.
Yep. Ding, ding.
Pierzynski, Phil? AJ?
Yeah, we get 3 wrong guesses. AJ.
Okay, hold on. Now stuff just got serious.
Okay, this would have been a year, I'm pretty sure 99. They had some weird, like, rotating outfielders. Like, Did Marty Cordova still play for the Twins in 1999?
He was Rookie of the Year in 96? Yeah, he might have. Yeah, he probably did.
Marty Cordova.
Nice.
One more.
Nice.
Matt Lawton.
Official guess, Matt Lawton?
Sure.
Okay, hold on.
Did he get traded in that
Sorry.
summer for Rick Reed?
That was 2001. 2001.
Okay.
7 home
Okay.
runs for Matt Lawton that year.
So just between Judd and I here, we get 1 wrong guess. It's been confirmed that Jock Jones was
That's
third in
exactly what I was
OPS.
going to say.
Let's get Jock Jones.
Jock Jones.
Oh, come
What?
on.
No.
Yes, he did.
No. 9 home runs.
Check
But
again.
not 10.
Just give him one more.
Check it again.
Check again.
I think that's our
All
third
right.
wrong guess.
Yeah.
It was.
Who is it?
Chad Allen.
Oh, I would never would have got. Sorry.
Chad Allen.
You suck for
Chad
asking
Allen.
that question.
What?
You officially suck.
It's not my fault you got the question wrong.
But it's your fault that you asked us a question that had Chad Allen as an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Allen.
Yuck. Last one here. Who was the highest paid player on the Twins coming into that season?
Oh, my God.
And if you want, I can give you the salary. And then you can guess the player.
What's salary?
Can we guess the salary?
Sure.
It would have been. This is very much like cheap poll ad contraction here.
You know what I
People
think?
complain about the cheap poll ads
Hey.
now. We'll get a load of what this is going to be.
Phil, I think it might be Radke because I want to say he signed a pretty substantial contract around this time.
He signed a 4-year deal. So let's backtrack it. I don't know. Radke made his debut in like 1995 or 6. And so he would have been under team control. He still would have been under team control through like 01.
Okay, so that might have been. Okay, so wait.
I mean, they could have signed him to an early contract, and it was like a 4-year, $40 million deal.
So it's not Brzezinski. It's
Real
not
quick,
Jack Jones.
Is the figure? It's got to be it's got to be less than $10 million. The top paid player, right?
In '99, yeah, way less.
I'm gonna say it was like $6 or $7 million.
I'm gonna say it's about 2 or 3. It was ridiculously low back
I mean,
then.
Puckett made 3 in the early
Right,
90s.
but Kirby was gone, and they cut costs then.
We're literally in the middle. Judd said 2, you said 6, Phil.
So
it's like 4.
4.3
Oh my
million.
God,
Yeah.
dude, are you serious?
So wait. So Brzezinski
poll
and
ads.
Jones and that crew
Those all
couldn't
new
have got
guys.
paid yet.
Yep.
And he did not spend a lot of time with this team, even though he was the highest paid player.
So it's a
This
slap.
would have been like a.
It's a slappy.
Is it a pitcher or a position player?
Pitcher.
Okay. So there was a bunch of random dudes who kind of came in.
When was Levon?
That was like
2008, pal. He
okay.
was winning World Series on the biggest strike zones of all
Okay.
time at this time right now.
That's right. Okay, so it's a pitcher.
I'm trying to think
wait.
of some of the old school relievers that
Wait.
they were bringing in.
When did they trade Aggie? Because if he didn't, although
Probably
he got
95,
traded,
96.
he got traded at the deadline.
Was Aggie
so-
back? Did he come back?
Because he came back. He went to Boston, came back as a starter, and then was traded to the Cubs. I want to say something like that.
I'm trying to think of the relievers that would have been. Was it like who? Wow. Okay, if I'm right, the name Greg Swindell just popped into my head, Judd.
Oh my God!
Former Giants reliever. But were they paying Greg Swindell
I don't think they
$4
paid him
million
that.
as a reliever?
No,
It would have been a starter.
It's got to be a starter.
Can I just for fun just guess Greg Swindell, knowing that it's probably wrong? Okay.
There you go.
Was
You just
Greg
wasted
Swindell
it.
on this
You
team?
just took an air ball from midcourt for no good reason other than you had a hunch.
It's got to be a starting pitcher then, right? Highest paid player. So Radke. I mean, it could be
Milton.
Radke in arbitration. Milton was too young.
I think we should guess Radke.
Okay, Radke.
Let's guess Radke.
One more.
Who are the veteran pitchers on this team? This is before Kenny Rogers.
I like how Levon Hernandez popped into my mind with 8
Tewksbury.
years.
This is before Rick
That's awesome.
Reed. Man, this is so annoying.
When did Aguilera come back? That's the only thing I can think of.
Honestly, you could be, but Declan said he didn't spend much time with the team. Declan wouldn't have said that if it was Aguilera. I'm lost. I'm trying to
know.
think of starting pitchers of who would. It's gonna be so obvious too.
Yep. So if it's not Radke, it's definitely not Joe Mays. It's definitely not Milton at the time, right? Because Milton, I don't think Milton ever made that much.
I'm
Did-
trying to
did we-
envision the pitchers
did we
that Jim
ask
Thome
starter
was taking yard.
Or
Is it a
reliever?
starter or a reliever?
Yeah.
Or a little of both?
So this season he was a reliever.
Might be Aguilera, dude.
All right.
Aguilera.
Aguilera.
Rick Aguilera.
Wow,
Yes!
dude. Nice job.
Yes!
Nice job.
And the-
Redemption!
And the reason I
Great
said
Swindell.
it is because he was actually traded May 21st to the Cubs.
Yes.
Which Judd was right.
Yes.
Who did the Cubs send back to the Twins in that trade?
Well, so the Twins.
One's a notable name. One's a notable name. The other one I don't really remember this guy, but he also was a pretty bad pitcher for the Twins on these 99-2000 team. But one they got back was a pretty legitimate name.
What position?
Pitchers. Both of them were pitchers.
Both-
They traded Aguilera and Scott Downs to the Cubs.
Scotty Downs.
Scott Downs.
Scotty Downs.
To the Cubs for these two pitchers.
And they were like minor leaguers that became, or were they?
One of them. One of them came up just right away with the Twins.
He'd been pitching for the Cubs, I think. I think he might have been pitching for the Cubs. Not Steve Traxel. Who was in that rotation?
So that's I used to watch every Cubs game. It would have been like Steve Traxel.
Kerry.
This is probably
Kerry
after
Woodish.
Jim Bollinger was gone by then.
Gotta love
Kerry
Jim Bollinger.
Wood, Mark Pryor was like 2000.
Oh, it was somebody who was supposed to be a pretty good. He'd come up with him, and he was pretty good. Like he was seen as a pretty good prospect, but then he wasn't that good here. Oh, I think I saw this guy pitch at the Dome a few times.
Kevin Tapani got traded to the Cubs one time. That was fun.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know, man.
Who is
I
it?
got Nothing.
They traded Aguilera and Scott Downs for Jason Ryan,
I don't remember that.
crappy pitcher for them,
Yeah.
and Kyle Loesch.
Okay.
Oh,
Kyle
Loesch,
was part
okay.
of that trade.
Interesting.
So Loesch didn't come up till 01, but yes.
All right, that was a sparring match right there. That is random season recall here.
By the way, that was
Mackie
really
and
good. Like we started off the wins wrong, but
Oh, and there I go.
the rest of well, you know what?
Probably for the best.
You've been
Declan's camera
canceled
just crapped out.
because you included Chad Allen in a.
Yeah.
That's what happens, dude. It's 2021. We cancel people that put Chad Allen in our trivia game.
Mackie and Judd will catch you guys for a little write that down action tomorrow.